I love phrasal verbs and idioms. Yeah! This video will be giving some information about transitive and intransitive phrasal verbs. And for the adventurous of you, there are some exercises at the end. When we talk about transitive and intransitive phrasal verbs, or verbs in general, the direct object is an important thing to be aware of. Look at this sentence. Davina ate an apple. In this case, ate is the verb in the sentence, and an apple is the direct object. What did Davina eat? An apple. An apple is the direct object. Bob saw a man with a hot dog on his head. Saw, from the verb to see, is the verb, and a bald man with a hot dog on his head is the direct object. What did Bob see? A bald man with a hot dog on his head. Objects can be long or short. Short, for example, an apple, or long, a bald man with a hot dog on his head. Some verbs take a direct object, and we call these transitive verbs. There are also intransitive verbs. These verbs do not have a direct object. Dumbledore slowly appeared in the room. Dumbledore did not appear something in the room. He just appeared in the room. Jennifer slept really well. Jennifer didn't sleep something. She just slept. The train arrived at the station. The train didn't arrive something at the station. It just arrived itself. To recap, intransitive verbs do not take a direct object. Some phrasal verbs are also intransitive and they will not have an object either. My plane takes off at 6 p.m. This is a phrasal verb and there is no object. My plane doesn't take off something, it just takes off. So some phrasal verbs cannot take a direct object, and these are intransitive. Transitive phrasal verbs. Have a look at this sentence. He picked up his children from school. Pick up is the phrasal verb, meaning to collect, and his children is the direct object. What did he pick up? He picked up his children. Now look at number 2. He picked his children up from school. Okay, in this case, his children, the direct object, appears between the verb of the phrasal verb and its particle. Both positions are correct. In the second case, it shows us that we know this phrasal verb is separable. A separable phrasal verb means that the direct object can appear between the verb and its particle. However, using pronouns causes us a little problem. Pronouns such as her, it, him, those, them. These have a rule about their position in separable phrasal verbs. Let's go back to our two sentences. He picked up his children from school. He picked his children up from school. And now look at the same sentence. We're using a pronoun instead. In position 1, the pronoun them after the phrasal verb is incorrect. We cannot say he picked up them from school. Instead, we will use position 2 with a pronoun. When we use a pronoun, the pronoun appears between the verb and its particle. Now you can find out in a dictionary, online or otherwise, whether a verb is transitive or intransitive by looking for these symbols. Now stop. Confusion ahead. If only it were that simple. You see, phrasal verbs can have multiple meanings. Looking back at our initial sentence, he picked his children up from school. The phrasal verb pick up here means to collect, and we know that it is transitive and separable. However, pick up also has other meanings. Pause the video and read these sentences. Now match the phrasal verb in each sentence with an appropriate meaning below. And check your answers. Did you spot which sentence above had an intransitive verb? Yes, in sentence number 3, business has picked up over the last 6 months. In this case, it means business has improved or increased. Now consider a different phrasal verb, in this case, blow up. Blow up is another phrasal verb which may have multiple meanings. Consider these sentences. Pause the video if you need to. Once you have read the sentences, match the phrasal verb in each sentence to its meaning below. And check your answers. Now, in which sentences above is the verb intransitive? Yes, in sentences 2 and 5. So phrasal verbs can be two different kinds, transitive and intransitive. Intransitive verbs have no direct object. Transitive verbs take a direct object. Transitive verbs, moreover, can be inseparable or separable. Inseparable transitive verbs. The direct object is after the phrasal verb only. With separable, the direct object can be after the phrasal verb, or the direct object can be between the verb and its particle. The direct object is never after the phrasal verb when using an object pronoun. It is always between the verb and the particle. I hope you found that helpful. I hope you're starting to love phrasal verbs. Please watch more videos to find out more. I love phrasal verbs and idioms. Yeah!